Hey guys, this is Thomas 1 Edward 2 Henry 3 here, and I'm here with my second audio commentary. And this time we're doing the second part of the Engines of Sodor final, Phantom Saboteur. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty much the same as last time. I'm not gonna talk over the whole video just because we're too much time, but yeah, here we go. So the title, Phantom Saboteur, it was originally just going to be like Sabotage, but then Victor Tanzig made his video called Sabotage, and so I felt like, I didn't want to have to,
ladies and gentlemen,
I couldn't have the same title then. And he was fine with me having Phantom Saboteur as a title, it's very different, but this is the opening montage. So one thing I'm sure you'll all agree, but I do feel this part was more filler until the final part, not as much action, just very slow. And yeah, the reason for that, I felt it was kind of necessary, because if I were to put the whole... The plan was, Tarnished Legacy, I think, had to stand on its own, one part. And yet, if I did only one other part, two-part, I would have to combine this with Wrath on the Rails, and of course, I hadn't written Wrath on the Rails yet, but it would have just been way too long. But at the same time, though, I didn't want just like a 5 to 10 minute second part, but, this is kind of like build-up. So, that title was designed by a user. Yeah, I'm forgetting names. That doesn't mean in a bad way, but I've just...
I remember when ours was
been a while since
2014. Those men trying to steal gunpowder practically hijacked me.
It's great to have a Sodor fan 2K10 back. This was the first time he voiced for me in like at least 2 years. I'm not sure.
After a few years in jail, the leader of that group, Thitkins, became ill with cancer. So they let him go.
Yeah, I mean, this probably wouldn't happen in real life, sending him on parole. I just had to have an excuse for him to be out of jail. Because if I just did it where he escaped from jail, it would... First of all, the engines would all know that it was him who did it, and second, yeah, it was complicated. And the reason I didn't have Lady Hat and the children in the special was I just didn't really want to devote time to, like, the family interactions. And I felt as if I had them, like, in the background, it would be kind of you know what I mean? Like, I would have to address it somehow. So having them just not in the final, I thought was the best solution. Yeah, this scene is kind of an example of that filler. Just had to make the special as long as I could. Fun fact, James Homer, who voices James, is the only actor who has stayed with me since the beginning, like these past 6 years. Just saying, that music that's playing right now, it's by Mavis, The Turntable 2002. Where Henry first puffs into the Force and haunted Henry. That is like the scariest piece from Thomas, hands down, in my opinion. But on that later.
I'm not so sure. That's definitely a good theory.
Yeah, I guess the scene is kind of a bit useless now, considering we know it wasn't auto-grub. That was just trying to decide whether to show Thitkins in the final part of the last part.
That looks like a drone.
DJI Phantom photoshopped into trains.
Oh wait, you know what that is?
Isn't that dangerous?
It might also make some people suspicious, especially...
I've gotten comments saying that the narrow gauge engines felt pretty pointless, and I do agree with that a little bit.
Move out of my way, you bumbling cigars!
Oh, there goes Mr. Nice Guy.
The problem was, I felt like I needed to give every current voice actor one last role, and so I felt like I had to shoehorn them in. Not as much here, but definitely in the next part.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but apparently...
Needless to say, this is not canon with the Magic Railroad. The Diesel 10 subplot was not the best, but I felt like I needed to address him again before the series was over.
I'm getting quite suspicious.
I'm trying to remember, I think a very angry Goku and Jonathan sorry, I'm mispronouncing Asian, but yeah, but they did a great job with Eri and Bert.
It didn't sound.
I was actually considering somehow putting Splatter and Dodge in the film, but I just really couldn't find anywhere that would be useful. That is the best Diesel 10 laugh ever. That shot of the gun barrel, that's used on Microsoft Paint.
Get down! Forward, driver!
Yeah, plot convenience.
Get the police!
Percy saves
Bloody hell was
him
that?
from the gunshot. I once saw a post talking about how,
We believe the bullet was
you know,
fired from the other
they were
side
saying
of the
like
tracks.
people who just use the generic crowd for the platform object are lazy,
I think I know
and
who it is.
I agree with that somewhat, but at the same time, when you're filming something this big, you just don't have time to put hundreds of individual people, have to search them all up, and,
That's an interesting
you know,
theory, but there's a problem.
lift them to the right platform position. It's just way too difficult.
Railway.
I think
But
this
can
is the
assure
point
you that the
where
police are doing
the
everything
action
they
and
can
suspense
to track
really
down the
starts, you know,
person
everyone's in danger.
Why won't they?
This is from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the music. It's the Emperor's theme. I just thought it really fit the mood well. You know.
Well, I know you're there. Right here, Pac-Man.
This scrapyard route
it's
is
you,
not
Dickens.
complete. If you
You
were to
better
move
go
the
run.
camera, you
Can't
just see a
believe you couldn't
blank
make a shot of an obese
section.
man. He'll relent more abuse on me.
And this is where we
Not my
start to
fault.
figure out
Anyway,
it's not just this.
since you failed to get rid of him, the boss has another idea.
This
We
music
are going
right
to
here
lure
is
him
from
into the trap.
Rogue One,
and then
Star Wars,
kill him.
where Darth Vader talks to, I think his name was Krennic.
I love it.
So, just if you're confused by that, the smelter's turned on. So I just thought it'd give it a dramatic atmosphere, because just doing it for the whole scene, red, it was too difficult with photo editing, etc., because it was moving objects. And I feel like Harold and
Oh, hello, Harold.
Mavis
I wish
were
I could say it's
shoehorned
going
a
well,
bit
but
in,
Needless to say, I'm
just to
really
give the
alone
actors a
since
roles,
we
but
basically had
they
an
have larger
attempted
roles in the next part.
assassination.
We all are. I've been, and it wasn't even Mr. Percival's
Well, actually, I guess it's
car.
not a useless part. It
That's
does
odd.
give away some exposition.
Guys, where is Mr. Percival?
You'll
His
notice
ears
characters
morning
like
look fine.
Duke and
I'm starting
Rheneas
to worry.
don't talk, and that's
There's
because
something that happened to him.
their voice actors
worry,
voiced
Peterson.
other
I'm
characters, so I
sure
felt
he'll
it
be
wasn't
back soon.
necessary.
Maybe his cat got stuck in
You
a
know,
tree.
Rusty, Peter, Sam,
spoiler
and
overflowed.
I
Scarloey
don't know. It's not like him to disappear like
all had. Those were the only roles for those actors.
Sir, you are wanted on the telephone.
Bother that telephone.
Insert WTL Network Butler
Hello,
joke.
Sophom. It's me, Peregrine Percival.
That is
I have some
photoshopped.
important news.
I had to rotate the hand.
What news?
Well, the thing is,
It's so funny how
besides,
he's using
I'm
like a
standing next to
1900s
piece of
phone while
evidence I
Mr.
can't
Percival's
believe.
using an
You
iPhone.
need to come and see for yourself.
Most murders.
Yeah, but
yesterday.
the fact that he just went over on his
I've sent
own
for Thomas to come pick
and
you up
fell
from
for like,
Wandsworth.
oh, you have to come
He'll be
here because I
accompanied
can't
by
move
him
it.
and his crew.
That's
He had
probably a
the
bit
day off, but was
silly
more
in
than
real
willing
life,
to
but
help.
again, you know, for story purposes.
Yes, she did have the day off. Very well. I'll
yeah.
be there soon.
I'm not
All
too
right,
proud of
see you
just
then.
the fact that Thomas
Is that
had the
enough
day
for
off
you?
and was able to
Yeah,
take the
please
fat
be
controller so
I don't
conveniently,
like
but
being a hostage, you know.
Shut it. You
I-
try to escape and
Oh,
I'll blast you to bits.
as I was
Boris,
saying,
there you are.
I felt like Thomas
could you do
needed
me
to
a
be in
favor?
that final scene as well.
Would you take this train
so,
to Netford
yeah.
Station? I'm having a bit of trouble with so much.
That is the funniest Diesel
Hello,
Pen
Thomas.
face.
You know what Mr. Percival wants?
And this is actually the hideout where Hero was found, but I'm still debating whether Hero of the Rails is canon.
Where exactly did he say?
Yeah,
it would
like-
be?
Heroes made cameos in my series, but I'm still debating whether Hero of the Rails is canon because, you know, Hero was obviously not the
Hello?
first engine on
What's this
Sodor.
all about?
Not
Well,
realistic.
Topham, I know exactly.
Who is
Is
it?
it just me, or does
Topham, you
the face of
remember
Mr.
about 5
Percival,
years ago
this
when
model,
there was-
remind
well,
anyone else of
hijackings
Postman Pat?
on the Skarloey Railway?
Wait.
I don't
you
know
mean
why,
the
so
one
maybe
where
the
those
eyes
lunatics
or the...
tried to steal the gunpowder?
Yeah.
I kind
Where
of
did you
wish
find this
that
out? And where's the
mansion...
evidence you brought me over
I
for?
kind of wish I did a story with it.
Well,
This old
it's,
abandoned mansion there.
It's,
Right here, fatty.
This was accomplished
I
by
wouldn't
using the
move if I were you.
flying
This
camera
gun's fully loaded, and I'm not
That
afraid
shot.
to use it.
POV.
he kidnapped
This
me,
music,
used me to
again, is
lure
from
you.
the end of the first part of
Here's
Harry
the
Potter and the
deal.
Deathly Hallows,
You
where
will stay where
Voldemort
you
takes
are.
Dumbledore's
Any
wand.
attempt to escape or cover you.
Now,
Boss?
I've talked
What
about
boss?
this before, but
Let's just say he's my old owner.
this whole twist of who you're about to see,
Your old owner died of a stroke years ago. Don't
I'm
give
trying
me
to figure
that
out when I
rubbish.
decided to do that.
owner? Why don't you ask him yourself?
I wanted to give like a huge twist, and this was like end of 2017, early 2018.
Oh my god. How
I think it was
How
after I
is
saw
this
Sins
possible?
by
you're
Turtles
supposed
and
to
Thomas.
be dead?
Am I not dead? Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, it's lovely to see you again.
I thought
Topham.
Phil Bogaston would be a
If it isn't
the
the
best
one and
twist
only
ever.
bastard, Phil Bogaston. You doing
And once
here?
again,
How
I
the bloody
decided
hell
not
did
to
you
reveal him at
survive?
the end of the first part
Survive?
because it would just
What?
kind of
I
make
never
this
had to
moment
survive anything.
lose its
I
emotion.
faked my death so I could quotation marks.
Fun fact,
performed the autopsy.
Bogaston's
That's
brother
what
was
he does
actually
for a
supposed to
living.
appear,
So
well,
you falsified
when I came up with
an
the
autopsy
idea,
report?
Yes,
and yeah, he'd be
indeed.
assisting
Very
him, but in
clever
the
you
end,
are
I
to
guess he
admit.
would
Now then,
I was thinking
think
maybe he
should
should,
remind you
like,
all why we are here today.
come to
Because you
realization
want
and
to kill me? I'm not
backstab
bloody
his
stupid,
brother, but
you know.
I just thought it'd be
You're
another whole
absolutely right,
subplot that
Topham.
wasn't needed.
But let's not.
Because you're a corrupted, despicable person.
Yeah,
We
this
all
is
know
a
what you tried to do with
cliche
your
villain
business.
weakness
That's
where
because
instead of
you're
just
bankrupt
killing
and
him, he just
tarnished my
explains his
family.
whole plan and
My father lost everything when your father broke ties. You slandered our legacy.
this was
He
from the
went into
episode
despair and drank himself to
Conspiracy.
death. We were on
And-
the verge of losing our business before he
And if you're
died,
wondering,
but
yes,
as he
I
lay
had
on
this
his
whole
deathbed,
twist
I
idea
promised
even
that
back
I would
then when I
save our
made that
legacy
conspiracy
and bring us
episode.
back into wealth.
That was the reason I
know
made
what he
it, so I
told
could
me?
give a slight
What?
introduction.
He told me it.
It was
And
difficult
after I
trying to
proved to
come
you I
up.
wouldn't be as
Well,
corrupt as him,
justifiable is
your
not the right
father
word. Obviously, it's
greatly
not
obliged.
justifiable what he's doing, but
But that's the
you know, like a
problem, you
reason
idiot.
why
You
he
became
wants the
even
Fat
more
Controller
corrupt
dead.
than your father.
And I just decided
Ah,
to
but it
go
didn't
for
have
like,
to
you
be
know,
that way.
typical
You
psycho
see,
who wants
we
revenge.
entered a loyal friendship, and the friendship can. You began using
This is
other
from,
fuels.
again, Conspiracy,
At first,
that
I
footage.
believed you were in violation
Conspiracy
of the
theories, I
contract,
think it was called.
but then I realized that you and your
That reason we wrote the contract in
Here's
that
a
way.
capitalism
You must
lesson
have
for you all.
misread because
I got a
This whole
wonderful
plan
idea.
Took
If
quite
I
a
just
great
killed
deal
myself,
to write,
you all would have won.
to think
That
up.
just
There were
didn't
several
sound
different
acceptable for my
versions where,
family's legacy. I then realized what I
you know, like,
needed.
I considered, what if
Revenge.
there was a
And
secret
if
from
I
the
were to
Fat
fake my
Controller
death,
the engines
no
didn't
one
know,
would
and it
ever
contributed
suspect
to
me.
this. But
That
then I
way,
didn't want
I
to,
could go undercover
you know,
and
create the
serve
whole
justice deliciously.
liar revealed
I staged
thing.
an
I just
action
thought
to
it
tarnish
wasn't
the legacy of the
necessary. So,
railway and
you know,
get
Sir
you
Topham
booted
Hat is
out. And
basically
it worked marvelously
100%
until
innocent in all
some
this.
idiot left my notebook full of evidence on the platform.
Yes.
Plot
well,
convenience.
Sorry about that.
Marvelous.
probably
He
shoot
was
him
a
in
loyal
real life.
worker to Ballyhoo Firearms Gunpowder
Now, this
before
line
it
had
was
to be
shut
re-recorded
down. He was
because
a
I
very close to the
accidentally
head of the company, and when
forget
he got
what I did, but
arrested,
I
Fitkins had nothing
wrote
left.
something that
The owner of
contradicted
Ballyhoo Firearms was a
the
close friend of mine,
Attack of the
and so
Railway
I felt I had the
Pirates,
duty to help
something
one
to
of his
do
most
with, you know,
loyal
the company
workers.
that they
I
owned, to
instructed
defuse
Fitkins
it.
and some others to
So
steal
the last minute
gunpowder
I had to
so I
send
could use it for
the
my
actor
master
the
plan.
script back with
But
edits to
unfortunately,
re-record it, to
failed,
match the
and
continuity.
Fitkins ended up in jail.
Favor, so I got in contact with
Yeah,
him.
it's a bit
Plan
silly in
went
real life.
back into
El
action.
Chapo
And
has
what's more, I
HIV, so
used
let's
to
let
be
him
a
roam
soldier
free
many
again.
years ago, so I knew exactly how they all worked. I communications.
Yeah,
I knew
again, this is all
exactly where
fiction.
each train was going.
This is
As
very
you probably
convoluted
figured
plot,
out,
and
we
you have to
tried
rely
many
on a
schemes
lot
to
of
get
things
you
going
into
right.
trouble, and they were quite clever too.
This is how you repay me? I gave you
Yeah,
a
to be
home
honest,
and work,
this whole
and
Diesel
gave
10
you many,
subplot,
many chances to
I'm glad I put it in, but it could have been worked on more, because it just resolves very quickly in the next part, and there's not much time dedicated to it.
Make the right choice.
Remember, he was a gift given to you by me.
Again, I wanted him to have some relevance in the final
Engines.
Engines of Soda special,
Bogiston
so...
was his owner? You never told us it was him. Just that he came
Again,
from a
Magic
businessman.
Railroad's not canon.
I didn't think the engines would appreciate me using.
And again, this is like some
until
BS excuse I had to put in the last minute. You know, it's like, how do I describe it? You know, it's like Obi-Wan telling Luke that Darth Vader killed his father.
That's
You know,
fair
I mean,
enough.
Explain
that's a
later.
whole,
Did
not
you
the
forget we are
best
here
response,
for
but,
right
you
now?
know, it's
There
because
will
of,
be
you
no
know,
after for
continuity you had
This is the
established
end
before,
for
so you
all of
kind of
you.
had to work around it.
What will that accomplish?
It's Bogiston. We'll cover it
Matter of
up
fact,
very
I'd
well.
actually
Exactly.
considered
And even if they do
adding, like,
find out, I've got a
Ari and Bert
private
were
jet
talking about,
waiting to
oh, he
take you
chased
to
this
Cuba.
purple
They
engine on the
won't catch
mainland,
me.
and it'll be
I'm a
referring to
free
Lady on a
man.
private railway,
Oh, and
but
there's one more thing
I just thought it'd be
forgot
too
to mention.
confusing.
It won't just be you. Yes.
Honestly,
we tricked
I'm
one of
very
your agents to
proud
take it for us. And in
of
about
these
30
last
minutes,
few minutes.
whole
The tension
station will
build-up
be up
I
in
thought was
flames.
great.
Oh, it will be spectacular. We just thought it'd be fun for you.
Mark my words.
That is
If you
like,
kill us, or
I don't know,
any
just
of
the
our
way I
engines,
wrote that
the
insult.
remaining staff and
I'm proud of
engines
that.
will hunt you down and will not stop until they've ripped your head from your body and crushed it with a steamroller.
Fun fact,
What?
Thitkins was
Get off
supposed
the
to
ground!
die in
Put
this
your
scene,
hands
be
up!
shot in the head. But shortly before I finished, I thought, you know, I really needed him for the final part because Bogiston didn't have any henchmen. In fact, I had to create some in the next part, as you all know.
Came to the rescue.
I thought this was the
Oh no.
most
Wait,
appropriate place
Leopard is
to
going to blow
stop
up.
with this part.
Oh,
Create tension for
we've
the
got
next
to
part.
warn them. Help.
There's not a moment to lose. Tally ho!
And that is it. Phantom Saboteur. And the date that's listed here obviously is wrong. It didn't come out till October. Wrath on the Rails, but yeah, so I'm pretty proud of it. I do agree it's pretty much full of filler, but as I said before, I felt that was unavoidable. I couldn't just attach this and the final part as one because it'd be way too long, and yet, you know, I didn't want to, you know, just make like a 5-minute second part. You know, the Wrath on the Rails on its own was like 40 minutes, so. But anyway, I'll be back next time with Wrath on the Rails, the final part of the Engines of Sodor final. Thanks for watching.